Hi sophomores, Dr. Bradley here with a couple of comments on colonial regions and land grants for your consideration. The first is I wanted to remind you something you probably learned in middle school, which is that the British North American colonies were divided into three regions. And they are characterized by settlers who came in family groups for long-term settlement, often for religious freedom. The southern colonies, by contrast, which include Maryland, Virginia, North and South Carolina, and Georgia, were settled earliest, and they were characterized by people who came primarily with a wealth motive and tended not to come in family groups and resulted in spread out communities that were agricultural. They engaged in tobacco cultivation, rice, and later cotton. The middle colonies, which included the province of New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, were colonies that were lucky to land in terrific climate, fertile land. They engaged in agriculture, trade, and were the most diverse of all three regions. So this map I wanted to show you is a map of colonial land grants. And we'll probably talk about this in class, but it's something worth remembering that because of the geographic ignorance of the Europeans who arrived in the Americas, they knew little about what lay west of the coastline, much less west of the Appalachians. And to cover their bets, the British monarchs who made land grants to the British colonists would make the land grant as defined by two lines of latitude. So, for example, here you see Massachusetts land grant, and it was defined by a northern and a southern point, and then the king would say, "And I grant to thee the land as far westward as there is land." And so you'll see that the early colonies were strips of land that went theoretically across the entire continent. This later became problematic because other colonies, such as New York, didn't have these Western grants, and many colonies had overlapping land grants. As you'll see, Pennsylvania overlapped with Connecticut and Massachusetts and New York in numerous places. And that once the colonies became the United States after the American Revolution, they would have to resolve these conflicts over land grants. And the huge disparity between a colonial grant to a state like Connecticut, which stretched across to the Pacific Ocean, and a land grant to a state like Virginia, which ended at the Appalachian Mountains. So these were issues that would be resolved later and emerged from lack of knowledge about the land mass that is North America. That's it for now. Bye.